It's funny. I've always been a little bit camera shy, and but I always was drawn. I was always drawn to people's voices. I grew up, like many of my colleagues, watching wonderful cartoons like all the Looney Tunes stuff and the Hanna-Barbera stuff. And I was always a natural mimic, and I wasn't really trying to be. I didn't realize that what I was doing was actually sort of voice acting in general. But, my father used to say, "You could do this for a living someday." And I was like, "Yeah, but aren't there only about 10 people who do this?" And it didn't occur to me at the time that I could probably have started then had I really thought about it. But I was fortunate enough to have the time and at the time financial resources to help build this, because I know just as well as anybody else, this is, if you're planning on making this a career, you don't treat it any differently than you would something like law school or medical school. You put in the time and the investment and and the patience and the waiting and the knowledge that there are no guarantees. But I stuck with it, because I love it. You are my opponent. What I like about recording with a group is that I might make an entirely different choice based on what was just said ahead of me. A couple years ago, I worked on a show called Kaijudo: Rise of the Duel Masters. It was on It's a Hasbro show on the Hub Network. I got to work with some of the greatest in this business, and we're working with Phil Lamar and Kari Walgren, John DiMaggio, D. Bradley Baker, who is an alien. That guy can do anything. It is astonishing. Ray Delisle. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm in the same room with you people. But, it's all a level playing field once you're in there. I mean, I get to listen to these masters at work, and I also get to play. Like, we're all we're all playing in this game together. So, of course, the director's going to tell me what he wants, but there's a lot of times where it'd be like, okay, you go, you go, you go, you go, and we'll just see what flows. Sometimes I've played characters that I'm absolutely nothing like. And there might be some kind of a freedom in whatever it is you're doing in that audition. We're like, well, I have no frame of reference for a Nazi vampire, which is also what I've played. But you gotta find something, you gotta find something to make it believable. When I read for Fang, it was a discovery process, Yes, all the lines were written beforehand, but as we found how the story was developing and how whatever I was doing with her, a few things were tweaked to kind of make it more like, hey, let's, we're meeting in the middle here. And I love that. And by the end of it, I really felt like something was missing, like I felt like a piece of me had gone away. And I guess that's, the thing that where you really connect with a character. That's sort of why I really do love acting. I hope to be able to do it until they tell me to stop talking. Do improv, do stage work, do stage combat. Have other stuff to do, because this is 90% of the time not going to pay the bills right away.